Creative New Zealand, Stephen Wainwright.
Not Stephen, unfortunately.
No.
David Pannett.
David, welcome.
Colleagues. Worship councillors, thank you for the opportunity to speak to you today on the draft long-term plan. With me I have Chris Archer, who's our Senior Arts Advisor based in Christchurch. We also have Chris Herbert, who's our Senior Advisor for the Christchurch Earthquakes, and Felicity Price, who's one of the members of the Arts Council, Creative New Zealand's governing body. So if I might quickly just run through our key points that we've made in our submission, and then we'd love to field any questions that Council may have about that. So we acknowledge at Creative New Zealand the difficult financial situation and the unique circumstances that Council finds itself in planning for the future for Christchurch. We believe that the long-term plan should position the arts as being of vital importance for the city's future, given that a vibrant and diverse art scene connects and inspires people, attracts a creative workforce and instills a sense of community pride. And it's a key factor in what makes a city livable, as well as an essential destination for domestic and international visitors as well. We strongly recommend that Council refresh its arts policy and strategy, which we note as laying dormant since July 2001. We're excited by the opportunities that a successful performing arts precinct will bring to Christchurch and urge Council to strengthen its commitment to the precinct within its plan. We encourage Council to carefully consider the need to fully or partially restore the Town Hall and or the James Hay Theatre, and to take account of the future needs of the arts sector and the community in making this decision. We encourage Council to acknowledge within the plan that its role in respect of the arts is carried out within a broader regional, national and international arts ecosystem, which includes co-investors like Creative New Zealand. We believe the plan needs to shift its focus towards this ecosystem and how the funding that is available from Council can be more effectively leveraged within that. We encourage Council to bring together all arts and cultural activities into one arts and culture activity management plan. For example, combining the arts and culture, community grants and events and festivals plans, and broadening the scope of this set of activities. We believe that having one arts and culture plan, supported by a revised arts policy and strategy, would demonstrate a real commitment to restoring the conditions necessary for a successful arts and cultural contribution to Christchurch residents' lives. Our principal arts survey, the New Zealanders and the Arts Survey, tells us that the arts continue to enjoy strong support in Christchurch, with residents' participation in the arts increasing and residents viewing the arts as essential for the city's future. We therefore believe that Council has a critical part to play in directly meeting residents' expectations for accessible, high-quality arts experiences, as well as enabling a broader environment in which the arts can flourish. Thank you. We're happy to answer any questions that you may have.
Raf.
Thanks for the submission. It's very detailed and full. I've got one question on the Town Hall, where you encourage us to carefully consider the need to fully or partially restore the Town Hall. If we didn't do that, what would be the other options we should look at?
I might pass to Chris on that, if I may.
If you didn't repair the Town Hall, obviously the new build option. When the blueprint came out, it provided for a 1,500-seater and a 500-seater new builds. So we were of the view that the Town Hall was unrepairable, just purely because of that statement. Victoria Square was clear, but subsequent to the blueprint, the council's made a decision to repair the Town Hall. So as far as we're concerned, old or new, we want to get up and running, want to get our people back into the amenities. We understand the difficulties, the complexities of the repair, the insurance issues, a whole range of issues. So we're not standing on the sideline, but we are keen to talk about those options if other options have emerged since your decision to repair.
Do you know if there was ever a budget done for a new 1,500 seat?
No, you're talking about 5,500 a seat as a rough $5,500 a seat, so rough. So a new build would probably be slightly more than 127 million to get, but you'd be fixed. 150 million probably, but it's fixed price contract with no penalties. So there's the difference between a repair or those options. So it's purely financial.
Yanni, then Ali.
Thank you. Really interested in that synergy of anchor projects. Have you talked to the Crown about the convention centre or Ngāi Tahu's cultural centre around the opportunities for performing arts to be access that space or utilise that space or have partnerships?
Yes, we have a program steering group that involves the Crown representation and the council representation. So we exchange information.
So where's, I mean, is there any opportunity for the convention centre or the cultural centre from Ngāi Tahu to have performing arts space that's accessible?
Well, we're not having those, I have to admit, we're not directly involved in a conversation. The general feeling is that we need an independent civic centre as opposed to something that's integrated into a convention centre.
Ali? Oh.
I was just trying to understand why.
Well, the Ministry of Culture and Heritage, for cities of this size, have a matrix, an optimal matrix for amenities, and Civic Centre is a core one of those. We have, apart from performances, we have graduations and ceremonies and a whole lot of other civic uses. And most cities, you won't find those integrated into a convention centre. They're a separate, standalone civic amenity.
Yep. Ali?
Thank you. Your submission urges the council to strengthen its commitment to the performing arts precinct. How, in what way?
For me, in reading the documents and preparing it, it may just be a case of it didn't give me a sense of impact about that this was something this council was throwing their weight behind, I guess you could say. It felt as though it appeared on the list of anchor projects at the beginning of the document. I had trouble trying to navigate where the financial commitment was in the financial statements itself. That some 30 million was coming from borrowing. So again, there was kind of in the wider context of the choices that council's having to make about timing and projects.
And commitment.
And commitment. It felt as though that may be pushed into the nice to haves rather than what we see it as an essential part of reactivating the city centre, getting things moving into in a vibrant, attractive heart of Christchurch.
Because with a performing arts precinct, of course, you have people coming into the town, some of them already living in the town and the accommodation that's going to be built in the town. And when you put something like the Court Theatre out at Addington, it doesn't have the opportunity to attract the bars, the restaurants, and the spill out before the theatre and after the theatre, and not just the Court Theatre, but any performance that's going on in the town. They don't have, there's no interaction between the two in a place like Addington, whereas if they were in the inner city, there would be that interaction. And so that's why we're saying, whether it's old or new or wherever it is, somewhere in the central city, we need a thriving performing arts.
Yes. Anyone else? Jimmy?
One question, okay, because you recommend council bring all together, all arts and the cultural activity into one arts and the cultural activity management plan. My question is, a moment a city, you are aware, so many the cultural event or activity, arts, that's a kind of the multicultural, the atmosphere. I'm not sure how to prioritize those, the cultural event and also the activities. How do you think?
I would see those things as that task of prioritising being easier if those things were brought together. You'd be able to, I would think, choose where to make the investment more wisely and have a better appreciation of the array of events, activities, festivals, that sort of thing that were on offer. I'm aware that the council teams that are responsible for those areas have recently been brought together to support both the arts and events and activities like that. So having them work to one activity management plan, one revised strategy, hopefully, sort of enables the conditions where we can get the best bang for our buck in terms of the investment that we're looking to make in making the city a more vibrant place.
It also makes it easier for those trying to access those funds as well, which is important.
One-stop shop rather than needing to.
Yeah. Tim?
Yes, that's leading into my question on your third point on your second page with regards to funding that is available, or making it easier for funding that is available, or more effective to leverage. What do you mean by that? Is it awkward? Is it designed to be hard? I don't know.
I think it comes back to that one-stop shop kind of concept. Creative New Zealand invests a lot in Christchurch. The council, obviously, in Christchurch as well. And there are other funders out there, as we know, like the Community Trust, who have the ability and do make those investments into arts in Christchurch. So part of that is encouraging us as funders to work more closely together. If we know clearly what council's looking at funding, what's important to council, we can look at how we might be able to assist on particular things. We're not competing with each other in terms of, that's something we don't do, that's something that the council does. We're all on a level playing field. We can work out how to support things together that individually may not cross the line. So
we have leveraging. We can make the distinction between business as usual funds, which is something that goes on, and earthquake recovery funds. And so we have business as usual, which is what David's really talking about, how we can make that easier. Earthquake recovery funds are running out. They have a finite time. We, along with other organisations like the Community Trust, have set up earthquake recovery funds. So we have learnt how to work really closely in order to be able to complement each other's and leverage the benefits and back into the city. But those funds are finishing. They've got a couple of years to go, and they're out. So all those people that you've seen set up here, they're going to come back to business as usual.
Look, thank you very much, and I think that point has been made by a number of arts organisations, and I think that councillors have, sort of understood that this is quite a priority to get that integration happening, because then you get the whole being greater than the sum of the parts, and I think we get that. So thank you very much for your submission.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you.